that's all there is for the PowerPoint. So, with that, we'll be happy to take questions and comments. Yes, sir.
Yes, I would. Do you have a copy of the approved subdivision plan that was approved by the city that you can show?
I don't have one with me, no.
So you came to this meeting without that? Okay. Could you go back to your first frequently asked question slide, please?
Can everyone hear?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll be a use the mic. Okay, sure.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you don't get the PAD approval, can you build houses on this site?
Without the PAD approval, the plan we have proposed would not go forward. Well, for example, we could pursue straight R19 homes, but we would still probably be looking at what's called a modification to the DMP. We wouldn't have to rezone. No, just like no one else in Red Mountain Ranch has been able to without City Council approval.
So if he had the subdivision plan here for you to see, what you would see is that there are plots showing where homes can be built per the approved subdivision plan. And if you look at the driving range, there are no homes shown there. It's designated as open space. Now, this is the plan that the city approved more than, 20 years ago? And it's what the developer agreed to with the city and what we all bought into. He cannot build homes on that site.
If I could take just a moment and speak to the issue of the existing DMP. What the gentleman said is exactly correct. The city approved that DMP pretty much 20 years ago. As far as I can tell, that's the third version of the DMP. It's not the original approval. There was 2 amendments to that. DMPs are subject to change over time, and so it's not unusual for a city council to look at a project that proposes a change to a DMP for a variety of reasons. The thing that makes this possible and work is because we go back to that approved DMP. That approved DMP approves over 2,200 homes. And that approval for that number of homes is also tied to an approval of a certain acreage of open space. All right? And it creates a ratio of open space per home. And the city ties that open space to that dwelling unit count as an offset, because they're all PADs, as a way of saying, if you provide this much open space, then we could support having 2,200 plus homes here. There's not going to be ever 2,200 plus homes in Red Mountain Ranch. For whatever reason, I'm guessing market forces, it's developed less dense than that. And so what you have is, even with this development, you actually have a higher ratio of open space per residential unit than you would if the subdivision built all the way out. So I just want to throw that out for you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I got a question on that.
Hold on, Ken. This gentleman first, and then you.
Well, I'm sort of wondering why this entire process is taking place between April of 2009 and October of 2009, at a time when a large number of the residents of the community are not in residence. And since there's no plans for construction at the present time, why would there be any objection to postponing this application until the entire community can be present and voice their concerns?
I appreciate that comment, and we're looking at that. Red Mountain Ranch is not known as a retirement community. Hold on. You promised to be nice. Promised to be nice. Cannon first, he had a question. Yes, Cannon.
Okay, I want to ask everybody in the room. What he just told you is that because of the restrictions on the open space in this community, that he thinks it's just fine for you to have less. Is there anybody here that wants to have less open space in this community? No. So that's a fallacy, sir. It's legal, but it's not what these people want. They don't want less open space. They want open space. And you have to know that and understand it. You understand it?
I understand what you're saying, and what I'm telling you is there won't be a loss of open space to residential use.
Okay, does anybody here believe that if this property is developed, that you are going to have an increase in your open space? No! The rules that are associated with the original development say that we can go to a lesser amount of open space per residence. That's what Mr. Welker's trying to tell you is a good deal. That's crap. And that's the way it's going to stay. We're not increasing open space unless this is approved. If you want to get this disapproved, you just keep working and you'll have the same amount of open space you've got right now.
I thought there was a gentleman back here who had his hand raised first. Yes, sir.
This meeting on September
I'll repeat for him. Go ahead.
This meeting on September 16th for the Planning and Zoning Board,
Yes?
this is to get this property rezoned, is that correct?
No, it's just a public hearing for the P&Z board to take comment and then make a recommendation to the city council. The actual approval or denial of the project doesn't happen until that October 19th date we spoke about.
That's to get it approved for rezoning.
Correct.
But you give it to the Planning and Zoning Board so they can look at it
Absolutely.
to give their stamp of approval. Is that correct?
Yes.
So in essence, if we don't show up, we put our feet up on the desk, most likely the Planning and Zoning Board will approve it. Is that correct? Are you telling us we don't have to show up?
No. I've never said anything like that.
You implied it though.
No, I did not imply it.
So this is a very critical meeting for this.
I said it was a public hearing where they were taking comment and many who wanted to attend were welcome.
My comment is, it's almost an intuitive stamp of approval at this Planning and Zoning Board so that the city council can then have to rezone. This is a rezoning issue that
Correct.
we're faced with.
Correct.
And once it gets rezoned, and I've been through many Planning and Zoning Board hearings, you can do anything you want with that land once it gets rezoned.
No,
You
all
do
we
not
would...
have to stick to the plan you just zoned.
No, that's not correct. When the city council approves a rezoning, they approve it with stipulations and subject to a site plan. And in order to make changes to that, you have to go back through the process to get those changes made.
But you
So,
haven't shown us a site plan.
pardon?
You haven't shown us a site plan. You just
Yes,
showed
that's-
us cutting cookouts of how many homes are going to be there. That's not a site plan.
Yes, no, that's exactly what that is. That's exactly what the city requires us to turn in.
Mountain Bridge did it 3 times. The new one that's going in there, they changed it 3 times on there when they did that. After they got the approval, they changed it.
Too many times. They get
They changed it
approved.
3 times,
They
Mountain
change
Bridge
it.
did.
They get approved again. They change it again. Anyways, my whole issue is that it is very critical that the people here tonight and even other friends show up to the Planning and Zoning Board hearing on September 16th.
I think it's critical for anybody who has an interest in this project.
Thank you.